Thank you, John. Honorable Commissioners, good morning. Executive leadership, personnel from PUD and general public, welcome to today's safety presentation called Living with Wildfire. As a volunteer firefighter, this is a topic that is very near and dear to me. And in this particular presentation, every photo and video that you will see comes directly here from Eastern Washington. This is part 2 of a series that I've built for safety topics. This one is titled The Burn. What we're going to cover today, we're going to take a look and find out how fast do wildfires spread. I'm going to give you a true inside look inside of a real working wildfire. We're also going to cover how to protect yourself and your family using evacuation levels and a checklist. And we'll also cover defensible space and protecting your home. At the end, we will have a quick discussion point to review the content we've covered. And I'm sorry, I have to unshare momentarily. I forgot to include my computer audio. Just a moment, please. All right, we should be good now. And welcome to Living with Wildfire.
I'm surrounded by Mother Nature's beauty. This mountainside is a prime location that provides breathtaking views, but all these trees, all this dry vegetation, unfortunately increases the fire danger. And as the climate warms, the danger is only getting worse. Now, wildfire season has become a year-long threat, burning twice the area now than in 1970. It's true that these fires, they can reinvigorate nature, but when they flare up in populated areas, they all too often lead to total destruction. Now, of course, weather plays a huge role on how explosive a wildfire can be. And over the past few decades, the climate over the western U.S. has become more conducive for wildfires with overall warmer, drier weather. Like where I am today, the overgrown brush has dried out from the lack of rain, leaving plenty of available fuel to burn. The air is hot and extremely dry with dew points in the teens with winds getting stronger. Now, believe it or not, more than 80% of wildfires start because of human activity. Often it's a stray ember from an unattended campfire or a tossed cigarette that can ignite a firestorm. And it doesn't take much and can spread quickly. Now, climate trends warn that these fires will continue to be more intense and burn longer than just a few decades ago. Now, the smoke itself is hot and races high into the sky, becoming visible for miles. So let's get above that smoke for a better view. Unfortunately, the strong winds are really giving these flames life. In fact, by the looks of it, this fire is spreading at ludicrous speeds and becoming an unstoppable firestorm. Fires like this one can consume up to a football field every second, just like the Thomas Fire did in December of 2017. And since heat rises, fires travel faster as they move uphill. Wind can also push embers downwind and start new fires. This is known as spotting, putting homes on the mountainside in great danger. Wildfires can turn forest floors and even neighborhoods into nearly unstoppable raging infernos with temperatures reaching over 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds carry the thick smoke for miles, turning day into night and making it difficult to breathe. If you live in a wildfire-prone area, be sure you and your family have a plan of action. Residents could have a few hours to only a few minutes to escape to safety. Now, hopefully your neighborhood will never be in the path of a wildfire like this one, but the frequency and size of the extreme fire disasters has increased as the average temperature rises. And scenes like this could become a frightening new reality.
Requesting for Tom's. I need all mutual aid responses to go to Adams Fort. 3135, come in. Where are you? To 2131, West County Tech 2. (1331, 1326, West County 2. You want me to call again there? Hold up the road for now. Local Monument Command.
And looks like fire investigation sent a tender or a brush truck. Which one would you rather resolve?
Send the brush truck back.
Monument Hill Command 22.
Thank you for that. I do apologize. I am working on a single screen today. I don't have my split screens today. We're going to go into protecting yourself in your home. Hope you enjoyed the videos. First and foremost, fire danger is at its worst when you hear a red flag warning. We're all fairly familiar with this particular topic, but what you may not know is that means a red flag warning means critical fire danger is either occurring now or will very shortly, and to be extremely careful with open flames. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into a checklist and get ready. First and foremost, what you need to know when they issue a red flag warning is what is your evacuation level. Just like a stoplight, there's 3 sets. Level 1 is ready, 2 is set, 3 is go. Level 1, if you get that, you have some time. Pack your belongings, get your important paperwork together, such as your passports, birth certificates, insurance information, medication, and anything you think you may need. If you receive a level 2, well, 1, you better be ready to pack and get set because it's coming. Monitor the news. Follow your local sheriff's office, county state emergency management teams, social media pages, live TV, and any radio news broadcast. The point here is to have your vehicles loaded and stand ready. Pay specific attention to the weather. If the wind is blowing your way, the fire's probably coming your way. And level 3 is go. Leave now. Your life is in immediate danger. The agency that gives you the evacuation notice, thankfully, will give you directions to a safe place. If you or someone you have in your home has a disability or needs help with small children, consider evacuating at level 1 or level 2 to give yourself some time. Well, you're asking me, okay, great. Well, what should I pack? I like to think of it like a 3-day camping trip. You know, food, water, clothing, some important papers, first aid kit, all the basic stuff. Keep it simple because remember, you might only have just a few minutes rather than a few hours. But if you don't have time, remember the 5 P's: people, prescriptions, papers, personal needs, and priceless items, and get out. All right, that's great. Well, what should I leave? I've got plenty of room. Here's the deal. Anything that doesn't fit in your vehicle, leave it. Okay, you might have an RV. Hey, I'm just going to hook up my RV. That's great. It's nice if you have one. You can haul a lot more stuff, but it takes a lot longer to load in emergency situations. And then we have the big debate, usually between most husband and wives, you know, ATVs. Honey, I don't want to leave my ATV. And your wife might be, no, I got to take my jewelry. No, leave it and take only one vehicle. Do not ever separate yourself from your family unless you have no other choice. Remember, you can replace your belongings. It's just stuff. You can't replace your life or the life of a loved one. So how are we going to prepare our home for wildfire? There's 3 basic rules here. We have zone 1, 2, and 3. Zone 1 is what we call moist and trim. That's the area around your house. That's your lawn, your garden, and it's usually watered. So that's a great space to have so the fire does not come in contact with your home. Level 2 is low and sparse. That's the area usually beyond the length of your water hose. What you want to do, especially in sagebrush territory out here, break it up. You know, try and mow the vegetation, water it if you can, anything you can do to reduce or eliminate possible fuels during fire season. If you need to create a fire break or you want to create it at the outside of that 70-foot mark between zone 2 and 3. Zone 3 is high and clean. This is generally reserved for areas where there's heavy timber, but the idea is the same as zone 2. Just clean it up. Get rid of the low-hanging branches on the trees, clear your heavy underbrush, get rid of your leaves.
It was a hot fire. The wind was blowing probably about 45 miles an hour. This morning I got up and came out here, and my house was still there and that corner had burned. Then I seen all this. Kept on going and went across and jumped the highway, and it melted. In fact, that pile behind you there is still hot. And the flames come up over that hill right there between the saddle and came on at my house and caught the trees on fire and burned all this solar heads and engine blocks.
And anybody could look out their window and see what we were facing. You know, this wasn't a case of clear blue skies and they could see a smoke column 5 miles away. This was a case of some minutes you couldn't see 100 feet in front of you outside your window. We didn't know where the fire was most of the time. It was hard to track the different heads of the fire. There was multiple different points the fire was burning no matter which way you looked. The problem with this fire was you could not just go to the fire and put it out. The fire was moving so quick, changing direction so rapidly, you couldn't never get ahead of the fire. So the fire itself, there were homes lost, and it could take a couple days, given the footprint of the fire, to figure out exactly what was lost. But there was also several losses throughout the district, and that was everything from primary residences to secondary outbuildings, shops, farm equipment, and personal vehicles.
Okay, what is the one thing that you truly don't have when it comes to a wildfire? I mean, think about it for a second. What's the one thing you don't? Well, that's time. Well, why? It takes an average in Grant County of 20 minutes for firefighters to respond to the scene of a fire. 20 minutes. I mean, firefighters are people too. I'm a volunteer firefighter. It takes about 10 minutes to get off of work, get in your truck, go to the station, get your gear, get in the truck and respond, and then 10 minutes at least just to get there. If you live in the outlying areas or have property like up in Rimrock Meadows or up towards Blue Lake, up on the cliffs above Lenore, you're looking at least 45 minutes before a fire truck even gets there, and that includes EMS. Again, how fast does that fire spread? Depending on the fuel type, especially in our area, which is a lot of grasses and sagebrush, and the weather, a wildfire can actually create its own weather pattern with its own wind, its own thunderclouds, and its own tornadoes. And a large fire having the right condition can travel at speeds at over 200 miles an hour. Remember from the video, the very first one football field per second? That's almost 3.5 miles per minute, which calculates to just over 200 miles an hour. You can't outrun a fire. Don't try. Well, Steve, now you're going to ask me, is it too late? No, it's never too late to prepare yourself, your family, and your home. But remember, one spark is all it takes to start a wildfire. It can be from your lawnmower, a rake, an axe, or even your side-by-side. One spark is all it takes to start that wildfire. And why, again, is this important? 80% of today's wildfires are human caused. So, I mean, come on, an ounce's worth of planning is worth that ton of benefits. Just be prepared. Have a checklist. What I've done is, because of time constraints, within the presentation materials for today's meeting, I've provided you with a checklist, and there's a 12-page document there that outlines how to build defensible space and gives you more tips into building and landscaping and how to save your home should you be in the path of a wildfire. Have that checklist. Use it as a fun learning tool for your kids. I mean, make a game out of it. But remember, most important, pay attention. You can replace your belongings, but you can't replace the life of a friend, a family member, or somebody you truly love. I'd like to thank everyone for allowing me to present the safety topic. And if you take anything away from this, it's not a matter of if a wildfire is going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.